sorry. Y'all know I just already explained that. I can't help it. All right, and action.
What's up, you guys? It's Jasmine. Y'all already know I am tuning in from Why Hip Hop the series. Today I'm sitting here with my girl Strings from Orlando at the Icon Studio. But y'all, we got one of the best people I met all year in the building.
And the year's almost over.
You see what I'm saying? The year's literally almost over.
Oh, it's the end of the year. Goddamn, probably need some real folks, but it's okay though.
You see what I'm saying? So we got Miss Shay Star here.
Hey, what's up?
Can you go ahead and pop your shit? Just let everybody know.
Man.
You know,
Look, you already know what the fuck going on. It's me, girl Shay Star. We live direct right here in Orlando at Icon. My girl Jazzy Strings.
Yes,
What's poppin',
yes,
though?
yes.
No, appreciate y'all for having me.
Thank you for coming, Miss
No,
Shay.
thank you for having me.
So-
This is like super dope.
We're doing a whole interview right here. You keep your voice down, especially with that profanity, even during your shopping experience. Thank you. Okay. Talk about I know these bitches.
And all right, scene 2.
But we gotta use most of
No,
it.
y'all got it. Yeah,
She got it.
All right.
No.
So, with that being said, I definitely want to thank you for tapping in with us. You all the way in Orlando. So, can you tell everybody, like, pop your shit, tell everybody where you from, what you do, like, why do we need to know you? Let us know from
Well,
you.
you know, baby. Now, you already know it's me, girl Shay Star. I am originally from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I grew up in a little town called Dover, Delaware. So I went from the Southwest to the Eastern Shore. So I got like a little mixture of that up north vibe, but you know, I'm still, you know, a Southern girl in heart, for sure. I live in Atlanta currently. Which
Every time I hear Atlanta, I want to be like,
Clark South, bitch, okay?
You know what I'm saying?
Because we've been outside.
around.
Only didn't close a damn thing.
Nothing.
In Atlanta.
Nothing.
We've been
Outside
open.
with it.
We've been open.
Okay.
But I moved to Atlanta 4 years ago to continue to pursue my career in radio and media. I became a blogger in 2011, which is kind of how I got into media, and I started my website, shaystar.com. So pretty much, you know, like yourself, went around and really tapped in with different entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, really anybody who was doing something dope. I tapped in and we utilized the website to really just kind of blow up whatever it is that they were doing.
Right.
And luckily for me, I got into blogging at a time where it was still fresh, it was still new.
Right.
So I was kind of like one of those pioneers of like, you know, the blogging world. So I got in at a really good time.
Right.
And you know, and as things have started to kick off for me, the different opportunities and a lot of different purposes that I was, you know, blessed to be a part of, the opportunity just kind of just came from the sky. You know? But it's one of those things where, you know, you got to stay ready. You know, you can't ever, you know, not be ready for what's going to fall in your lap. If you really say you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't know that I actually came to the game as an R&B artist. So that's really like...
So you can say.
There go the talent. Okay. There go the talent.
Okay.
Nah. That did not leave you. That did not leave you.
Give us a little raspy now, you know, I smoke a lot of weed.
You
so
know,
I got-
okay. When you're right. Okay.
It's the cookies, you feel me?
Yes, ma'am. So.
But what actually, you know, made me, you know, really dig into wanting to help the independent artists is because I was one.
Right.
And I understood, you know, what it was that I wanted and what I needed when I was an artist. And I was like, you know what, if I'm able to educate artists on the right way to conduct their business as an artist, then for me, that's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what the shaystar.com platform is for, is to use entertainment as a way to educate, you know, our peers. So I never really got too much into like the gossip, and I didn't do the disgusting, you know, who Kim Kardashian was sleeping with this month. Like I never got into that. So I always tried to find the positive side of what somebody is doing and promote that. Like, you know, this woman is a serial entrepreneur. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, you know, how she's, you know, gotten people out of jail, you know, doing the research and find loopholes in the cases.
Fashion icon.
We're going to talk about, you know, how she's leaving Kanye today or whatever. But she's done a lot of monumental things that just kind of get swept under the rug because of the reputation. So I like to peel back those layers and really like zone in on what it is that people are doing to impact our community. And that's definitely like a great example of somebody who's really impacting the community and not just, you know, what the tabloids say.
Exactly.
I think sensationalism is what takes it to the next level, to where it makes people don't even want to pay attention to the good, because for some reason evil just sounds so much more like, that's so good. You don't even care.
Evil just sounds
Evil is like, yes,
and
you
that's
know?
what everybody gravitates to.
Yeah, for
is
real.
The drama, the negativity, you know, the dismay that people go through, and it's like, well, damn, like we can connect on a lot of other levels too. So I really just try to like put out what I want back, and that's positivity for sure.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I have to ask, you know, I gotta do it to you.
Yes, come on with it.
Here at Why Hip Hop, I gotta ask, like, out of all the things that you could have, you know, basically took your talent, the mindset that you have, you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to give it to hip hop.
Yeah.
So why hip hop?
When I got into media, it was more so. Okay, so I was brought in kind of like in the hipster crowd. So I was one of the fashion type stuff. So I was, you know, known for one of the more known fashion bloggers. Like, you have a show, you want Shay Star to be there because she's going to put it on her website and she's going to interview everybody. But as you know, I tap back into my roots, of course, being an artist. I also wanted to give back to those people who supported me when I was an artist. So I had a section on my site called Speak DJ. And I would take the DJs who would spin my music back when I was an artist, and the DJs that I connected with. Because I always understood very early that DJs run the industry. You can't say you're an artist and not have a relationship with the DJs, you know what I mean? So I use my platform to uplift and salute DJs to let people know the importance of that. And it's kind of like a one hand wash the other, you know? So the artists that obviously gravitate towards the DJs or hip hop. Right. So these are the artists that were reaching out to me, you know, asking for promotion and stuff like that. And you know, with hip hop, you deal with a lot of trappers and rappers and D-boys. Right. So it was important for me to learn the business of entertainment so I could teach them how to clean some of that money. You know what I mean? And how to turn that mindset of that hustler and apply those same principles to your music. So, you know, you have to look at this as a business. So if you're good with numbers and pushing a product, you can do the same thing over here. Because at the end of the day, dope sell itself. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's this or it's music, you feel what I'm saying? So you just have to present it in a way to make people feel like they want to be, you know, a part of it. Yeah, absolutely. So that's why I chose hip hop, was to be able to educate those young brothers and sisters who don't know about the business of entertainment.
You understand, you hit that shit on the head. Like, most people don't understand when people are trying to get them advice. Like, I'm just trying to tell you to make something that people want to be a part of. Do they feel motivation when they hear it? Do they feel like they can relate to this? Do they feel like when they sing it, it make themselves strong too? Like, what are you doing? Most people make music for them and their homeboys, and then be like, damn, why didn't it go nowhere?
When it's not received by the masses because you don't understand your target demographic.
You're not learning what they like, what you can sell to them. That goes for if you got a kitty market, a male market, a wing smoking market.
You gotta be able to cater to those people.
Absolutely right. So as far as hip hop is concerned, because now I hear you talking about the DJs, and I do want to point out the fact that right now you are on the Core DJ show on Shay 45, right?
Yes. Shout out to Tony Neal.
Shout out to Tony. That's my boy.
Okay.
Shout out to Tony Neal.
Okay.
Yeah. Tony Neal is such an amazing person.
Bro, for
and
real.
If you are an artist and you don't know who Tony Neal is, shame on you.
I know.
Because you know, back in the the 90s and 2000s, if you wanted your music played, it had to come from Tony Neal's It had to come through 4 DJs. Like, this man is on every major radio market in the country and really across the world. So why else wouldn't you want to be, intertwined and understand what a reach like a Tony Neal? Right. For little old me, who I didn't even know Tony Neal even knew who the hell I was. For him to offer me some such a monumental position. You know, out of his 200 stations that he's on here in the States, Shade 4-5 is the only one where there's talking personalities. So all the rest of them are just mixed shows. So for them to add the voice to that is like crazy, because you're talking about 32 million listeners on a Friday night. You know, I would have never.
And to be a woman, first of all, let's be clear.
Yes, that part.
And a black woman.
That part.
Let's be clear.
That part. And that's really how I got the position, because the show had 2 guys on it. And, you know, he was talking to his fiance, like, the show is missing something. I don't know what it is, but it's missing something. And shout out to ATL Top 20, DJ Bishop. They do this thing called Dinner with ATL Top 20, like, every couple of weeks. And Tony was one of the keynote speakers for this particular event, and I was moderating the panel. So apparently him and his fiance were having this conversation prior to the show that night, and Tony was just saying to her, the show is missing something. I don't know what it is, but it's really bothering me. Like, I don't know what it is. And I guess in the midst of us moderating the panel and him talking, she heard my voice. And she looked up at him and she said,
bingo.
That's it right there.
Bing bong.
And he knew exactly what she was talking about.
You see these dogs in your yard?
So that was amazing to even know that, you know, his wife, you know, is so supportive of what it is that this man's vision is, that she was willing to say, you know what? Nope. That's it right there. So, shout out to Trees. I love you so much. Tony, I love you guys so much. Congratulations on y'all big engagement.
Congratulations, y'all. I know y'all probably, I'm just pro black.
Nah, for real, like, for real. So it's just been a blessing to have people in that, you know, magnitude, you know, appreciate and value what I do. And not, you know,
dim it
down, and not thinking that it's wrong to give me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, his legacy is everything. So to pass that on to me, basically. And shout out to DJ Cube, my co-host on the show. You know, and we're on a international tour right now. You know, and I would have never, you know, thought that, you know. So I went from, you know, moving to Atlanta, just trying to get on radio in Atlanta, to being an international radio personality now. So I'm not running around that 285 hamster wheel like everybody else. This is being heard across the world.
I want to just, so how hard was that to navigate and get to that level, you know, as far as radio personality? Like, what was the you know what I'm saying, the process to make it? Did you have to intern? Did you have to go through?
Well, see, my process was a little different, you know, than others. I actually, so how I got into radio was the radio station back home, OC 104, that was the biggest radio station on the Eastern Shore. They had caught wind of what I was doing with my business with ShayStar.com, and, you know, the celebrities that I was meeting, the people who I was working with, and they really invited me on the show to talk about, you know, what it was like to be an entrepreneur from Delaware doing, you know, amazing things, and how I, you know, got into that. So I came on the show, on the morning show, to do the interview, and somebody asked a question about something that was going on TV, and I answered it.
It sounds so good.
And the phone started ringing off the hook. And I remember the morning show was also the program director. And I remember he, you know, those radio interviews, especially when they're live, they're really no longer than about 5 to 10 minutes, because they really chop it up. But that's really it. And he actually looked at me and he said, "You're good." He said, "You're really good." He said, "Have you ever thought about doing radio?" And I'm like, you know, I do a little podcast and stuff like there, but never to the capacity that he was, you know, talking about it. And he said, "Man, listen, I got 3 people on their way. So I got somebody coming from Washington, D.C., somebody coming from Cambridge, and somebody coming from somewhere else outside of Eastern Shore, Delaware." And he said, "If you will accept this position to be my morning show co-host on the #1 rated morning show on the Eastern Shore," he said, "I will tell all of these people not to come." So I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So this went from that type of interview to that type of interview.
So in one.
Yeah, so I remember calling my manager and I was like, "Oh my God, like, they just offered me like a morning show position. Like, should I take it?" And he was like, "Hell yeah, you should take it." And I'm like, "But I'm not gonna be able to travel." Like, he was like, "Shay, that's the morning show on FM radio." Like you said, we'll figure that out later. And it's just like the floodgates opened up after that. You know, I wasn't on the station more than a month, before he offered me the assistant program director position.
Nice.
And
Go
then
ahead.
2 weeks later, the music director position. So for me, with no radio experience, to
Right.
be able to come in doing a morning show, and then not just that, then he gave me middays by myself. So I was on the radio from 6 in the morning till 10 a.m. with him, and then I was on from 10 a.m. to 2 by myself. So I was on the radio from 6 in the morning to 2 o'clock in the
Full-time
afternoon.
job.
That's all you hear is Shay Star all damn day. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow. And then we were doing the news for ABC. So it was just a lot of great things that came out of that experience, that once I felt like I had, you know, sowed my oats as much as I could in the tri-state area, because you figure Philly's down the street, DC was down the street, Baltimore, Philly, Jersey, all of this stuff was just surrounded around Delaware, because Delaware is a big deal. But all those places are only an hour and a half away. So I literally had to drive to those different cities or different states to build my brand, to be able to compete in a market like Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Because I had already made a name for myself in New York. I had already made a name for myself in Philly, in DC. Talking about some of the hardest markets to take.
Yeah, you saying New York, like that's not a big ass market. Like, dang.
I remember nights of driving, because that was a 3.5 hour drive for me to go to New York. I remember I would drive 3.5 hours for 7-minute interviews.
Come on now.
And have to turn back around and go right back to Delaware. You know what I'm saying? If anybody traveled, you know, from Jersey to New York, you talking about $40 in tolls just going one way.
Talking about tolls.
You know what I'm saying? And $25 when you get to the bridge in New York. So, and then $150 to park your car. So I'm spending all this money just to go and do these little 5 and 7-minute interviews and turn back around and go all the way back to Delaware, edit them and get them on the website before everybody else do. You know, it was a lot, but it was worth it. You know what I mean? Because it put me in position to be able to, when I did move to Atlanta, not just accept what people wanted to give me. You know what I mean? So I humbled myself, of course, because I understand that they didn't know, and nobody cared about what I did up there. They wanted to know what I was going to do when I got there. So that's basically what I did. And now,
can I give you a five for that? Because that's really what it's about. Like a hustler, I feel like they can reinvent themselves everywhere. They can go and introduce themselves anywhere, and they're still going to be that.
Absolutely.
When they walk in the home. And that's kind of like the thrill of what we do. And the thrill of like us in our life, because like it's almost like a little challenge.
Absolutely.
Like, can I be the same person that I was over here? And sometimes when you realize like you can, you be like, damn, I did that. You know, I did that. Like,
and to answer what you asked me earlier about being a woman and how I figured that out, moving to Atlanta was a shock for me, because you know I had to compete with the little bankheads and the Stewie Roddick's and the Ferrari Simmons and the Fly Guy DCs, these men, you know, who have been staples in Atlanta radio. It's been a time, you know, wanting to be able to be seen and valued at the same level of people, you know. So I didn't get the job per se in Atlanta, but I did get the morning show in Macon. So that was awesome. For me.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? I said, okay, it wasn't Atlanta, but I'll take Macon.
I'm in Georgia still.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm still here. You know, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So shout out to, you know, Power 107.1 for, you know, giving me that opportunity to come in, and I did the morning show down there. I was there for a year and a half. COVID, unfortunately, you know, ended that job for me. But being able to do radio in Macon and living in Atlanta was dope, because I was able to bridge the gap between Atlanta and Macon. So the city life that everybody in Macon, you know, thrives for, I was able to bring that to Macon. And then I was able to bring those Macon artists into Atlanta and allow them to, you know, and vice versa. So it was artists in Atlanta who probably wouldn't even have thought about Macon. But because I went down there and hyped the fuck up, niggas was like, oh, we need to go see what's going on down there in Macon, because if Shay Star down there, it got to be lit. And it honestly created a buzz for me. Even though I was on radio there, it created a buzz for me in Atlanta. Like, well, dang, if you fool with Shay Star, she can get you played here. You know, because I was hosting all the clubs in Atlanta, which is how I got the job in Macon, actually. A position came open, and a DJ that I had hosted a party with had submitted my name to the program director as somebody to take over the morning show position, and that's how I got that job. So just you just never
It's
know.
inspiring. You gotta accept every opportunity, big and small. Like Ross said, that one could be your
You never,
Yeah.
okay?
You know what
And
I'm
I'm
saying?
telling you, I was never a party host. I didn't do that in Delaware. I used to throw parties in Delaware, but I wasn't like a host, not like to the capacity that I am now. So moving to Atlanta, that was one of the things I had to humble myself for, because I'm going to the clubs trying to get a night as a promoter. Again, they don't care what I did in Delaware. They like,
You
well,
prove yourself here.
Yeah, so look, we gonna, bring you on as a sub promoter, and if you bring X amount of artists out that buy bottles and spend money, then you know what I mean, cool. Now for me, I'm like, oh, that's it? That's all I gotta do? Cool.
Right, easy.
So, unbeknownst to me, so I'm pulling up on a Friday night with 10 artists, and 5 of them have bought sections, and the other 5 is getting ready to pipe up with the strippers on the stage.
Yeah.
So the promoters is like, oh yeah, we fuck with Shay Star because she bring them out. Well, one night the damn host didn't show up, and I'm running to the DJ booth like, hey, I got artists in here, I need you to shout them out because they're spending money. Like, what's up? And the DJ looked at me and he was like, don't you know how to do that? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not the host.
Yeah, I'm bossing here. Come on now, make it make sense.
So unbeknownst to me, he saw me hosting one night at a club. So he knew. He knew. So he handed me the microphone, and I went ahead and shouted everybody out. And the promoter ran to the DJ booth. He didn't see me, but I saw him. He runs to the DJ booth, and he was like, "Who's that on the microphone?" And shout out to King Dice, the DJ. He was like, "It's Shay. It's like Shay Star. She hosts." And Dice was like, "Yeah, and she fired." He was like, "Man, tell Struck he's fired." And they literally fired the host that didn't show up that night. And I've been working there for 4 years.
Everything just lined up for you by taking opportunities.
That was it. That was it. And I've been working at Diamond Club literally for 4 years. I've been in Atlanta literally for 4 years. So. And that's a major staple in the strip club community, in Atlanta. So everybody has come through that club. So I've met some major executives and other artists and other people who are influential in the business just from being the girl on the microphone. Right, so it's just a multitude of things that have occurred that I've just, like you said, I want to take the opportunity.
You never know where it's going to lead you.
Never know where it's going to go. So I don't care if it's paying a little bit of money, no money, or a lot of money. I'm going to work it like it's all doing the same.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So as far as I hear that you are in tune with the artist situation a lot more, and it feels to me like you may have some good advice for people that are actually up and coming in this situation. But what would you tell to an 18-year-old version of us that's trying to get into either being in the industry or in the media industry?
It's funny you say that because I tell people all the time, back when I was an artist, I wish I knew a Shay Star, which is why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I was that starving, hungry artist who got scammed with $30,000 because somebody saw how passionate I was and took that as me being naive and vulnerable. No, I just thought you were going to be the person to do what you say you was going to do. So when I created my company, Shay Star Entertainment Group, it was all with the basis of I never want anybody to have to go through what I went through. So it's very important to me to teach them the business of entertainment. So my advice would be is just like anything else. If you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a police officer, a scientist, you have to go to school. You have to learn how to be those things. You can't just show up to the dentist office and say, hey, I want to be a dentist. You have to learn how to do those things. It's the same thing with entertainment. You know, you got to look at it like this. Beyonce Carter is a person, but Beyonce is a brand. It's two different conversations. Beyonce Carter should believe she shouldn't sleep every day, just like everybody else. But Beyonce, that brand, has employed over 6,000 people over the last 20 years of her career. That's a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? So when you understand that's a business versus just somebody that we like to idolize, understand why she's able to be idolized. Because her business has changed people's lives. You know what I mean? Her business has employed people to feed their families. That's life-changing. So when you as an artist are able to have a business that can be passed on to help other people and benefit them, now we're doing counsel.
Exactly.
So you got to make sure you get your paperwork together. Do you have an LLC? Who's your PRO? Do you have your publishing? Is your coding and your licenses together? Are you registered with all of the reporting agencies? Before you even go into the booth, all of these things need to be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect somebody to take you serious and want to, invest in you as a person if you haven't even done those things for yourself.
Right, you don't even take yourself serious.
Exactly. So
Because they get caught up in feeling like going to the studio, dropping 100 songs is it. Now I'm a rapper. No.
You got 100 songs, but nobody to listen to.
Because
you're too busy in the studio. You haven't been outside to meet nobody, to build a
shaking hands, kissing babies, and all that
you
stuff.
gotta do all of that.
Yep.
And I think that particular target audience, the 18, the millennials and stuff, they grew up with this technology, so they don't understand.
The hard work, the
they
grunt
don't
work.
understand what Joe Jackson had to do with Mike and them.
Yeah.
Back in the day. They don't understand, what Russell Simmons had to do with them folks back in the day.
Master P.
They don't understand what Master P and Birdman. They don't understand what that grind was like. So I feel like we are at an advantage because we grew up watching the traditional way of doing it, but then now we kind of we have the internet, the technology side.
Yeah.
The babies, all they know is the technology side, so they expect for everything to go like this.
And
So
happen overnight.
and that's where the disconnect is at. I still need y'all to have that same hustle and that same energy as Madonna and them had 40 years ago, but you apply that and you utilize the internet now to show everybody that this is what you're doing.
Exactly.
We had to wait till it came on TV back in the day to see what Madonna and Prince and all them were doing. Now, hell, they see what we doing right now.
Right now.
You feel what I'm saying? So you have to move in that same urgency that everything has to be like this, but you also have to make sure that you're taking the right steps to be consistent, and also that way so you can have longevity in this situation. So.
I know that's right. Shout out to the youngins that's gonna be able to, take something from that.
Absolutely.
One of the most important things that I heard you say today was basically being the person that you wish that you would have had. So I do want to thank you for that because you don't have to be
because I could be a scam artist like the rest of these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because I see it happen all day, every day.
All day, every
But that's
day.
why I go out of my way to be the exact opposite. Like, you have no idea how many artists call me and they're breaking down because their trust issues are so low because somebody from such and such who they thought that they could trust, they spent $10,000 and $15,000 with, didn't get what they were supposed to get. So then when it comes to me and my little packages, you
Right.
so apprehensive.
No,
You know what I mean?
very
Because
apprehensive,
you're afraid that you're not gonna get what you paid for. So I go through a lot of counseling sessions before I, get clients. But it's cool either way,
So
because I'm
when
okay
you
with
say
that.
clients, sorry to cut you off there, but I just want you to elaborate a little bit. What can an artist actually, come to you to obtain?
Absolutely. All those things that I just spoke about, I can help you guys get your LLCs together. I can help you get your PROs together, which is your performing rights organizations.
Okay.
I can link you with a licensed publisher who can make sure that your music is licensed and coded the way that it needs to be. We help out with split sheets. I can help you find real producers who have their paperwork in order, who that when you do songs with these producers, both of you are able to claim what you need to for your royalties on your split sheets, and just basically helping them understand the foundation of being an artist. So that way that if you decide to stay with me, then cool, but if you don't, then wherever you go, nobody else will be able to take advantage of you because you know what to look for, what key things people need to say to you before you do business with them. I tell artists all the time, if somebody doesn't ask you who your PRO is or, do you have your LLC together, go the other way. Because they probably don't got their shit together. And or they don't have your best interest at heart. They're just in it just to get some money out of you. Like, I won't even take money from an artist for promotion if they don't have those things together, because anything that I do will not be beneficial for you if you don't have that stuff together. So how can I tell you that, hey, we played your record on Shay 45 for the last 4 months? How are you going to know that? If your song's not licensed and coded and ready for commercial usage, you won't know that.
Oh, so I have a question too, because I work with a lot of up and coming artists, and obviously most of their goals are to be able to get their songs played on the radio. So how would an independent artist go about, like, what are some of the things that y'all look for? and then how would they go about being able to get this song played?
First of all, is it current? You know what I'm saying? Is it something that is relatable right now? You got to think about what's being played on the radio. You got Lil Baby, you got Kodak Black, you got Moneybagg Yo, you got Justin Bieber. How is your song, if I played Kodak Black and Moneybagg Yo and put you in the middle of that, is it going to be a disruption to people's ears if I play you in between like this?
Disruption, the motherfuckers.
You see what I'm saying? And if it is, then baby, that ain't it.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? You gotta know the level at which you're competing at this time. You know what I'm saying? Your competition isn't the other independent artists around you. It's the niggas that's already on top. Because that's who you need to be coming for. You know
You
what I'm saying?
absolutely are right.
Yeah.
And especially when you say you want your song on the radio, like, okay, who else is on the radio?
Exactly.
When you do that, you literally skip over
That's
everybody
the
that's over
blueprint
here.
of what it is that you need to be trying to sound like. And I don't even mean sound like, oh, you need to sound like a little baby. No, the quality
Radio.
of the music.
Right.
Is that radio ready? How about just make it, when you go in with the mindset to be radio ready?
Absolutely.
Did you so-called wanted to go straight to radio?
Yeah.
Go in with the
Did
mindset to record.
Did you pay for the mixing and the mastering?
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, is the engineer, you know, certified to engineer your vocals the right way?
Yeah.
Give you the sound that you need. Is the producer licensed and registered? Because how are you going to claim splits on a song and the producer's not even registered?
That's the part that don't make sense to me. They just want to, I
They
just
want
dropped
the
this.
likes and
I'm about to drop a
views.
mixtape. Every week is a new mixtape.
For what? We don't know the last 50 songs.
Thank you. You heard that? You heard it there. That's what I'm saying. Like you're oversaturating yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you know, I want to say a big shout out to
She said for what? We didn't
Money
know
Move. You know, he's an artist on the label that I A&R for Authentic Empire.
I think I know him.
And
He has a
the
manager,
song-
Red Push.
Yes, absolutely.
I know
And that
him.
song hitting, diamonds hit. Better watch your whole fire hit it. That song came out 7-8 years ago.
Saying, like, that sounds
You
good.
see what I'm saying? But it took all of that time for it to
right.
hit, and now it's one of the biggest songs in the country.
7-8 years.
7,
Do y'all
8
hear
years.
that?
You know
It
what
don't
I'm
happen
saying?
overnight. It happened over time.
But now, you know, it's amazing. You know, that was a song that you're gonna hear hitting every night in the club in Atlanta,
Right.
period. But for me to go out of town and I'm here and I'm there and to hear that song being played across the country now is amazing to me because it's like, you know what? You gotta trust the process.
Right.
You gotta trust the
do.
process.
You
You
definitely
gotta trust
do.
the process. It does not happen overnight.
Come on now, you just thank you for saying that. Cause you know, it's like when your mama tell you something, but you don't believe it when your mama said it.
Yeah.
But when your
Right,
homeboy
when your
mama
homeboy
said
said,
it,
you believe it, yeah.
like you can't watch this shit at your house, but you go to their house and you can watch this.
You'll get a totally different,
You know what I'm saying?
different message over there.
Hey, y'all ain't even lying.
No, for real, that's what it is. But like, it's like they gotta hear it from somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else. But you're getting the same story.
Yeah. You absolutely right.
Come on.
It's only one way. Like, I don't care what nobody say. It don't matter how talented you think you are, how much money you got. There is a process to being in this business. You can't pay your way, and you can't sweet talk your way. You can't fuck your way. You can't. There's none of that. There's nothing that
Can
you
you
can
double
do.
back on that? You can't. Can you double back on that? You can't fuck your
You
way.
cannot fuck your way.
Because it's so
in. I
many
promise
people
you
that
you
think that they
can't.
should just be because they was hunching, and I'm just like, okay.
It has nothing to do
All
with
right.
it. No.
You just got
You have
hunched.
to actually be contributing
Yeah.
and bringing something to the table
Yeah.
for somebody to again want to invest in you, whether it's money, time, or allowing you to utilize their brand to cross brand yourself.
Yeah.
That's an investment.
You're absolutely right.
Very
about
much
that.
so.
Yeah.
So when you understand that, all this shit is easy.
Oh man. So with that being said, Miss Shay Star,
Yes, ma'am.
I know a lot of people may want to be able to find you after this. They want to know where they could be able to reach out to you. So if you could give us a little quick synopsis on how we can find you, but spell it too, cause
Yes, want to make sure everybody, everybody's on the same page there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So you guys can definitely follow me on everything at I am Shay Star. That's I am SHAYSTAR. Very heavy on the star. You feel me?
You know what I'm saying.
And everything is I am Shay Star because branding.
Yes,
Simply
ma'am.
branding. So that's the easiest way to find me. You can Google me, if you want to. You're gonna find some things from my past life. Don't worry about it.
Come on, man.
Don't
Y'all got
worry
nothing to
about
do with
it.
right now.
Don't worry about it. No, because it's not a bad thing, but people get it. People get a little excited when they Google me and they see some of them old pictures. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry worry about it, okay?
Don't got nothing to do
Don't worry about it. Okay, I was outside, baby. I was
Miss
outside.
Strings,
Yes.
we gotta get your Instagram too because you gotta let the people know. We're gonna do the official interview,
Absolutely.
but still we have to let people know what services you offer.
This was a service. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
She
saying?
connected the dots.
This was
That's what I do. Y'all know I pull strings.
Period.
But y'all know STRYNGZME strings me. You know what I'm saying? Because I pull strings. And that's,
Yes,
everything
ma'am.
too. Strings, because it's the brand.
It's the brand.
Branding is everything. That's one thing y'all got to understand and remember above all. Branding.
Okay.
No matter what.
All right, y'all. Y'all already know it's Jazz checking in with YL Pop. I definitely want to thank y'all for tapping in. Peace.